Hey yo, it's Willie. Welcome back. So in today's video, I want to discuss why I think Tesla's energy business is going to take off dramatically over the next couple of years. And it's going to be quite mind-blowing to a lot of people, specifically investors and analysts of the company. It's something that's not talked about a lot, I think, because it's so small right now. However, if you take a second to consider what it is that they're doing, you can kind of see the chess moves that they're making. So first, we have to look at solar. Their solar business is one of the more noble aspects of the company. They're attempting to provide the lowest cost solar in the industry while also providing a home battery pack known as the Powerwall as an energy storage solution to your energy production setup. Now, I think this is something that's overlooked. One reason being, most people think of times of great prosperity. They tend to focus on things when days are sunny and the roses and all the animals are frolicking in the forest. But there's also going to be rainy days. There's also going to be tornadoes and snowstorms and blackouts. And I think having a system that can produce energy for you during the day while simultaneously being able to provide you energy at night when it's perhaps even more important is something that a lot of people just don't focus enough attention on. So that's just one aspect. Tesla also has their energy business for commercial customers. Some of these customers include PG&E out on the West Coast, the energy provider that has many lawsuits surrounding their company over the last few years regarding all the various forest fires and wildfires that have been occurring out there. You also have here in Texas, ERCOT, that failed miserably last year during the winter storm that caught the entire state by surprise and left some folks without power for 3 days, even more in other areas. So you got to wonder, this private company has begun to develop solutions for these problems. And now here in Texas, Tesla recently was approved to be an energy provider rather than just a private company that sells solar and battery packs. Now they're actually able and licensed to sell energy in the state of Texas. This is massive, right? The reason being is that they can now take those solar panels that they produce, the mega pack batteries that they produce, and they can collect a bunch of free energy literally out of thin air and sell it to customers for a cheaper price, more reliable, clean energy than what the competition can. A lot of people assume that Tesla was just a car company, and therefore it was only attacking the automotive industry. People fail to realize that Tesla has been game planning to attack not just the automotive industry, but many others as well, energy being one of them. So I think this is something that people should consider when they value the company, because at the time of this recording, tomorrow, they'll be releasing their Q4 2021 earnings. And I think a lot of people are going to focus on the automotive aspect of the call. And I think that would be a misstep. There's so many aspects of the company that have to be unpacked and understood in order to see the true value that Tesla brings to the world. I, for one, am extremely bullish on the company. I think there is going to be a complete revolution of the way that we do things in our society. I think there's going to be a movement towards decentralization. A lot of people are rooting for it, pushing for it. Decentralization enables freedom, right? Because when you're centralized, when you depend on a organization like ERCOT in Texas or PG&E in California, we've seen what happens when they do something reckless or irresponsible and the effects that it has on its customers, while those organizations hold almost no liability. So I think it's important to keep this in mind. Tesla has begun to enable freedoms simply by creating solutions to problems that centralization has created. So by decentralizing and allowing their customers to be able to produce their own energy and take that energy and do what is known as net metering and take their energy and sell it back to the energy providers that would otherwise be selling it to them. Right? Just a little flip-flop here. Hey, you used to sell it to me, now come buy it from me because I know that you need it. Something to consider. So what does this mean? Let's look forward. Let's fast forward 3, 5, 10 years. Tesla's now established themselves in Texas. Let's say next up is California. Then they move Midwest, then to the East Coast. Do we think that these next 10 years, they're going to stop what they're doing? I don't think so. Do I think that there's a chance, perhaps even a likelihood, that they take this elsewhere around the globe? Perhaps. What about places such as Tonga, who is going to be without internet for the next month? I was reading a couple of days ago. They're going to be without internet cable for the next month. And although this is slightly aside, Elon offered to provide Starlink. Starlink is SpaceX, which is another company of Elon's. SpaceX shoots rockets in the air that have these satellites that shoot down internet using lasers, of all things. And Elon offered citizens of Tonga these Starlink products that will allow them to be able to connect to the internet. Don't have to lay any fiber, don't have to, all you got to do is plug it into a wall socket, point the antenna at the sky, and you're connected to the internet. There are a lot of problems that need to be solved that are only problems because we've allowed them to become centralized. We've allowed someone or some group of people to dictate and control how these resources are distributed, even if they're not technically or necessarily vital to our survival, such as internet or electricity. People have survived for a millennia using no electricity, no hot water. So they're not necessarily required for survival. However, in the 21st century that we live in today, they're as good as necessities. So you got to wonder. Same man that's shooting rockets in the sky and providing satellite internet around the globe, sending those rockets up as often as he and his team would like to, with as many of the satellites that they can produce. And they're building as many batteries as they can, securing as much mining resources as possible, as necessary, but as possible, in order to create these batteries to set up, to store all the energy. If you thought that someone had a monopoly on oil, a country had a monopoly on oil, what do you think that Tesla's doing now with solar and energy storage? You gotta wonder, where does this go? This is 2022. Where are we at in 2032? As for myself, I'm an investor in the company. I'm a believer of what they're doing. I think we're allowing a new era of freedoms to be afforded to individuals. But I also think there are limitations. Some of those limitations are that there's more demand than supply. We see that with Tesla's cars. Everybody wants to drive an EV. Whether they want to drive it because they think it's better for the environment, whether they just want something that's faster or newer or all the rage, whatever the reason being, there's endless demand for Tesla's vehicles right now. And when people start to catch on to solar and battery, and how you can be your own energy provider. Don't you think the demand is going to shoot through the roof? People don't know about it yet. We discussed that. But what about when they do know about it? Gotta wonder, where does it go from here? It's something that I think about all day, every day. The reason being is because, again, I'm an investor. So I have to stay ahead of the market. I have to know what other people are thinking, and other people are not thinking about this. I know this. I've talked to many people. Most people don't care, and that's okay. There's an entire generation coming after that does care. It's not about people like me or anybody watching the video. It's about the masses, and the masses understand, or at least I presume will begin to understand in the coming generations. Unless there are nefarious bad actors in the background who are attempting to keep them down. Joe Biden. There's going to be a lot going on, a lot changing in the next 10, 20, 30 years. This is just one of my earlier messages to people to get in before everyone else does. So that about does it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend. And don't forget to catch any future videos where I may discuss more on Tesla's energy business. But I want to know what you guys think. You think that Tesla's energy business is going to be a major aspect of their overall business model over the course of the next 10 to 15 to 20 years? Or do you think that it's just something that's here today, gone tomorrow? Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm Willie. Catch you on the next one. Peace.